one little clip that sparked a lot of debate. But we're going to get into it and explain to you exactly what we were talking about. Let's bring back the magic.
Bring back the magic for all to see. Together we'll discover all the joy and glow. In every story, there's a little bit of gold. Join our podcast adventure, let the magic unfold.
It is time once again for another episode of Bring Back the Magic podcast. And this episode, like all episodes, is brought to you by our web store, Theme Park Chuckle, where you can find this By Felicia t-shirt. You know, we're all already missing the dinos, and that's not our dinos. I'm telling you that right now. Get in the car. Stupid dino. Anyway, find this on Theme Park Chuckle, and shout out to Felicia Rasad, who doesn't know that she's on this t-shirt. Please don't sue me. Okay. I am one of your hosts. I'm Josh.
And I'm his sister, Gina. And for those of you just joining us, welcome aboard. Please be sure if you're watching this on YouTube to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss a minute of the magic. We are also available on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, so follow us there. Also, like, comment if you're enjoying what we're talking about. And in between episodes, you can follow us on social media, Instagram and TikTok at BBT Magic Podcast. And thanks to Josh, we have a full website as well, bringbackthamagicpodcast.com or BBTM Podcast.
Yes, if you don't like things being ever updated on time.
Right.
Yes,
yeah,
if you're one of those people that likes to see a website that sits there and it's not really updated often, I'm getting to it. I'm getting to it. And I like to remind everybody that this episode is rated TV 14. So all you little kids, what are you doing here? Honestly, what do your parents have nothing better to do? I mean, come on now. All right. So let's get into it here. It's been wild. I got back from, we did a Brunch Back the Magic episode.
Yeah.
Really good one with Jake Mays. I had a fun time with that. If anybody hasn't seen it, I encourage them to go and watch it on the YouTube channel. Eventually it'll be put up on Spotify and Apple Podcasts if I have that kind of time, because literally it's forever and a day to do that. I don't know what's
there goes
Apple.
our sponsorship.
Yeah, sorry. Yes, Apple was knocking down my door. I'm like, well, back up, guys. I mean, I can only take so much money getting thrown at me. But yeah. Those things, great. I enjoyed the episode. It was fun. That's actually on the heels of me just getting back from my trip. I was in Disney. I got to run into some of our friends, which was so great. Yeah, I mean, it happens. Everybody gets that FOMO. You saw I did a blog.
I know.
I got to see
a blog.
I did a blog.
I did a blog.
I got to hang out a bit with Mark and Stacy from We Wear Matching Shirts. I really do enjoy them. They're a fantastic couple, and they just, every time I see them, that's embodies that Disney kind of vibe, like where it's like there is no cares in the world when you walk through those magical gates, no matter where you're at. And I'm like, that's what I like to do. I'm like, I like to just abandon everything else. Be like, this is what I'm here for. I don't want to hear about your problems. Okay, you may still have them. I don't want to hear about your problems. They don't exist in Disney.
To all of our friends when they see us at Disney, we don't want to hear about your problems.
Like, time out. I told you not to tell me about your problems. I don't want to get bummed out in Disney. That's the worst thing. That's like somebody crapping on top of your ice cream. It doesn't make any sense, and I don't like it. I don't support it, so don't do it, all right? Anyway, I got to see them. I got to see our favorite cast member, Crystal. I got to talk to her and probably nearly get her fired from, like, keeping her distracted from her job that long. But I got to talk to her, and she's always a pleasure. Shout out to her also for finishing what was the princess race this past weekend before we record this. And, yeah, it's just been a great time. What's been going on in your world when you weren't in Disney?
Not a whole lot, obviously,
riveting
life. I mean, getting excited for Festival of Friends, obviously trying to get everything together for that. My trip to Disneyland Paris.
Oh, what's that, Gina? Tell me about that.
Festival of Friends, our Majorly Magical meetup happening May 15th to the 17th. We're going to be closing registration.
Is that like a way of saying we're 3M? Our magical meetup? What did you say? Majorly Magical meetup. Yeah, 3M.
Yeah. So that's going to be, being a mom, being, like spending time with family and,
Yeah, our niece has been visiting you, so that's fun. I gotta be having fun. And also, shout out to her for bringing home movies with her, which I'm now trying to figure out which ones Gina's allowed to release.
I have to say, there is a
internet.
clip. You may or may not ever see it. It's such a fun clip that this one I couldn't in good conscience post without your permission. I was like, I'm going to need to get
Is it because I'm shirtless
I don't understand how people get embarrassed when they're stuff they're little kids. Like, you're a little kid, like, who cares? And it's not like you're pooping your pants or something like that. So I think it's fun. And
I haven't done that in a week.
I think it's a good example of how we loved showmanship since
I haven't done that since I tried cheeseburger spring rolls again, which, by the way, I am on a campaign to get them banned from everywhere. And people have some nerve. They've got nerve. I know, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I'm very sorry about this. But you finish what you're saying, then I'll go on my tangent about... I
was just saying, I think that it's a great demonstration of like how we've always loved showmanship and, you know, being in front of the camera or whatever it was. Like, I think it's cute when somebody who's doing something like a podcast now, you can go back and look and be like, oh my God, that was so cute. Like, look at all these other people that are always showing clips of, oh yeah, even when they were little, they loved doing this. So I don't see the reason to be embarrassed. It's very funny, but I wouldn't post that one without your consent. So I'm just trying to get your consent on that one.
Well, I feel like you may and you may not. I don't know. The jury's out right now, but you can keep, sending your
what's the worst that's
your support letters to whocares.com. No, I'm just kidding. So in the spirit of this, we're not doing like a hot takes or a wet spaghetti this week, because kind of the whole subject matter of this particular podcast is going to be something that is more like a hot take or hot topic on things. Before we get into that, I'm going to finish what I was ranting about these cheeseburger spring rolls, guys. Okay. I get that people have a love for these things. I don't get it. I don't know whose gas station palate for food is really just latched onto this. I eat the most garbage foods in the world. I kid you not. I am Mr. Hot Pocket. I am Mr. White Castle cheeseburgers in the freezer. All these kind of things that I will eat openly. I would rather eat the frozen White Castle cheeseburger and gnaw through it, or have it where you cook it the wrong way and becomes like the bun becomes like it's like a crouton, and you're like
the bun becomes a crouton.
I'm telling you. Everybody's been there. If you've ever tried to cook a White Castle cheeseburger in the microwave from like the microwavable section, if you haven't done it, try it. But it ends up becoming a crouton at one point because you don't quite follow directions. You're like, oh, I messed up again. I didn't get this.
Places and then like
hard and scalding on the outside, iceberg in the middle.
Destroy your mouth.
Yes, I'm like, I'm gonna have to fix that. But anyway, so the cheeseburger spring rolls. You see people that have like, oh my gosh, these are the greatest thing in the world. I get if you like it. Let's stop celebrating these things like they're that good, because they're not. They aren't. It's not. No, that's not okay. Listen, stop trying to be right down. I do get to decide that, because this should be. Listen, this is something.
I didn't think they were that bad. I don't think they were like raving.
Did you think they were great?
I didn't think they were
exactly. So stop.
But that's fine. There's plenty of things. I don't like Stitch, and there's people that love Stitch. I like,
I'd rather eat Stitch.
You love certain things. You love bourbon. I don't. Like, it doesn't mean I think it should take off the shelf. I don't like bourbon. I think it tastes like lighter fluid.
Listen, there's like, you know what? Whatever. Let's just you just will agree to disagree on that. But anyway, so with this, I get if you like, that's fine. But it's not like this is like, oh my God, it's not an experience like that. This is a bottom level kind of snack. But I get that people like it. I will support your love for it, but I won't like it. Okay? I will fake be happy for you. I'll give you an example. Our friend Colton he just finished the Princess Half Marathon. So shout out to Colton for that. And, it's something he's been training for a long time. And that's what, like 13 point something miles? 13.2. Something like that.
13.1, because the marathon's 26.2.
Yeah, so 13.1. Good math on that one, by the way. And he gets on, and later on, he's in Magic Kingdom eating a cheeseburger spring roll. And it's like this experience, like 10 out of 10. I'm like, okay, I hope that you misprinted this. I get what you said. So you meant the 10 out of 10, but it should have been 1 out of 10. Because I will tell you, 10 out of 10's Josh's don't like this. I think even Josh tomorrow probably goes in there. He's like this. These are trash. Can we get rid of these? They're like,
I didn't care for the pepperoni pizza ones, but I don't really like pepperoni pizza.
And the thing is, like, I used to think those were okay. And there's no way in the world that I got 2 bad batches. Okay. I'll do it a third time. If you guys want me to do a third time, I'll do it, because I don't back down from challenges. But I'm honest, because I eat cheeseburgers all the time. I didn't get this belly just because, oh, it's hereditary. No, it's not. I'm like, I eat like garbage in, garbage out. But this is who I am, and I'm fine with it.
Sounds like our podcast.
But garbage in, garbage out. New podcast coming at you later. But people are like, you're elevating this snack. And I'm like, I get the thrill with Dole Whips. Okay? Don't come at me on the Dole Whip and say, well, the Dole Whip's not that good. Okay, well, go to Sunshine Tree Terrace and get the orange version of it. They're both delicious. Okay? I'm like, I don't go East Coast, West Coast a West Coast rap between the two of them either. Because you're like, I prefer Aloha Isle. Well, you know what I prefer? You just enjoy your dessert. And, you know, maybe this whole thing is hypocritical of me anyway, but I don't know. I'm talking circles. Who the hell listens to me anyway? TV 14. But really, they don't. Anyway, I'm just saying, these things suck. Okay.
I didn't think they would have.
I was so upset. I had to eat mine inside the DVC lounge and with this family that was not the most friendly family next to me. And I was trying to do a live at the same time. I was like, I don't like this. I feel like I'm being judged. But anyway,
I
do
don't
Disney.
also see you going off about like a turkey leg or something like that you also don't
Equal,
like.
you know what? The barbarian style of something. I saw
Chrissy's
one person
favorite. She
picking
loves a
at it
turkey
like
leg.
okay. There was somebody eating that like a vulture one time. Like literally. And they were like their head, everything. And like, what are you doing? Are you part bird? And they're like pulling out every bone and all like sucking. I'm like,
Yeah.
this is way too involved. You might need a private space to finish this. You know, I also have an issue with people eating in front of me or noises when people eat and stuff because I have that misophonia anyway. So it's like, it really bothers me, but nobody ever cares because they're just like, yeah, I'll keep doing this. And they know it can
You
get
know
to
how
me.
I feel.
But it's always been a thing.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, to wrap this up, I did try it a second time. Trying to give everybody the benefit of the doubt. And I will tell you right now, there's things in your freezer section at like Walmart that you still be like, this is the world's crappiest taquito. Still better than that cheeseburger spring roll. It is like something I found at the gas station rolling on one of those wheels for like the 9 a.m. crew that came in, put it on there. And then the midnight crew was like, yeah, that's still good. That's what it tastes like. I'm telling you. Anyway, I digress. Let's get on with the show. So today's topic. I'm sorry, I'm entitled to a rant here and there. Today's topic is going to be cast members, okay? We have a huge love of cast members to begin with, okay? Like, there's probably nobody that bangs the drum more for cast members than we. And it's not anything like saying, oh, but yay, us. It's not about that. It's not about that. It's not about the challenge coins. It's not about anything else like that. But we know what a tough job that is. We both worked in like, you know, jobs
Customer
where it's like
service.
you've had to work customer service. You've had to interact with the public. And you may not always get treated kindly.
Yeah.
Why don't you delve into how we got here? Because it is all your fault
I knew you were gonna say
that this is. And Gina, has now become the poster child for the Karens of Disney World because she's like, everybody's like, oh, maybe
That
you just have.
lady.
You ever had the one? Somebody's like, that person has a punchable face. Maybe you just have one of those poster faces for somebody
Thank
that
you
looks
for
like.
my brotherly support.
No, I love you. You're a beautiful, beautiful woman. I almost said old lady. That was nice. You're a beautiful woman, but maybe it's just you're the screen grabs. Like, she looks like she's having a bad time right now. But
Okay.
again, you're
For
passionate.
those-
You're
for
passionate.
those that may listen to our podcast and don't follow us on social media, you may be completely unaware of what we're even referring to and why this episode.
Or what Gina looks like for that matter.
Anyway, our previous episode we did where it was about new CEO, ideas that we had, things we'd like to see change in Disney. We use a program called Opus Clips. Opus Clips will generate clips from our podcast. Opus Clips, please sponsor us. You owe it to us after this. But we'll generate clips and they will rate it based on how much they think it will get traction in the algorithm.
Mm-hmm.
There was a clip of something I said, something I mean, but something I said in the episode that I posted, and I won't lie, I often feel like the only people are going to see our stuff because we're a smaller account is just the people that already know us. I know there's a chance it will reach other people, but based on our previous traction, there's not a whole lot that does. So it wasn't my threat of like, I thought people know us. They know how we promote cast members.
But we also don't go through a lot of clickbaity stuff. That's not our thing.
So
yet we're going
I
to do
posted
that.
the clip and I did put at the top, hear me out before you get mad, because the full clip, I feel like, and the caption that went with it, although we know most people don't read captions. What was said in the clip was, I'd be lying if I didn't say, I want to see cast members weeded out or retrained. And I did say in there, I'm not talking about cast members that are just having a bad day. I did say, I think there are some people that just came for a job and didn't come because they want to work for Disney, and that it's not their fault when I said, if they're letting them behave that way, I think some people think I meant like if guests are letting them behave that way. No, I was talking about Disney. If you are managed and your manager doesn't see any problem in the way that you are dealing with guests, as people that have worked in management, people that have been managed in customer service situations, then I meant that it's not the cast member's fault. How would they know, right? I want to first clarify, because this is not even about taking heat off me. This is about, it's important to us because cast members are important to us. I did say, because also I want to say, we posted the clip. The clip did get some attention, but a account that follows us that has a much larger following that does tend to post clickbaity things, admittedly by them, posted it without me even knowing and put a slide in the front that just said, podcast says Disney employees do not give magical experiences. And they put the word some minuscule above Disney employees.
I was so glad they used your face. I come off like roses in that clip.
And then
I don't know.
truncated the clip so the full explanation.
Well, I'll be honest with you. Even that clip, you can still get context from it to a certain degree. It's just people want to be mad about stuff, and you're like, listen.
Now I didn't need
to. Don't bring your problems.
I did not need to respond to it. I didn't, but I chose. They did post our own caption, which most people I think didn't read, but I did go and say, thanks for sharing this. I would like to let everyone know this is a tiny clip of a full hour-long podcast. Also, anyone who knows us knows we are champions for cast members. Mm-hmm. But obviously, it got a lot of negative commentary. But it did also get a lot of agreeing commentary. I'm not the type of person that just cares like, oh, everyone agreed with me, so I must be right. I am always open to conversation. I am always open. But conversation and someone just saying mean things to you and yelling at you.
Can I give you my favorite? My favorite?
Yeah.
This comes from, I'm not going to say anybody's name. Right. His name is, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. FTG. So here's this way. If you know, you know. You probably don't, but that's my thing. So as a former cast member, you're 50. Grow up. So that to me is hilarious. First of all, Gina's not 50, nor am I. Okay. What do you got against 50-year-olds? That's very ageist. And not to mention the fact that some of these people, as a former cast member, and the ones that are pissy, glad you don't work there anymore. Because you're exactly what we said about. You're like, as a former, and you get pissy about it, but you shouldn't be defensive of something you know that is a problem. And you're like, if you don't work there anymore, it's the reason you don't work there anymore, especially if you're at the age where you would be working. Yeah. This person's not 65 and retired. Yeah. They're younger. It's as a former cast member. You're like, you're a former one, so you don't work there, right? What got you out of it?
I think that's an excellent point, because one of the things I was saying was, if you look in the comments, there are a lot of current cast members that agreed with what we were saying, because again, I want to stress, it's such an important part of the context that people keep ignoring that are mad about it, is I said the word handful. And I said, this is a handful of people we are talking about. This is not talking about all the cast members. We understand there are some people that are not going to deliver the level of magic that used to be in Disney. We also were talking about what Disney needs to do differently. And we understand they are not giving the same cast member experience, just like they're not giving the same guest experience. But the handful of cast members, right? There were guests or cast members that commented in the section saying, I agree. There are people at my job that make it very hard for me to do the magic. They are a drain. So that's what I'm saying. Even me never being a cast member and just from the guest side, clearly I'm not delusional.
You should have this as frontline people. Let's just talk about this. I don't expect every person there so important. I shout out to the housekeeping staffs and everything. And you still have interaction with them. Yeah. And I've never met an unfriendly member of housekeeping. Right. They're always been wonderful and everything. And think what they have to deal with. Yeah. You know? But it's like when you're frontline, you're expected to interact with people. There should be a level of how you carry yourself. Disney has rules, and people sometimes selectively follow them. Some of the things, and also I've talked to you about this before, cast members and their social media and everything else. I'm like, you don't realize that you're in a day and age where any employer, this is not freedom of speech, freedom of expression, whatever else is. You always have freedom of speech. You just don't have freedom of consequence. So what happens is, and this isn't a political debate, this is 100% for you representing a company in any way. So if you're tied to it and you go through, it's like saying, oh, I did this. Well, we don't want you representing our brand anymore because now you've tied us to this. There's people that work at Disney that have podcasts, or they have things where they have little followings and they do TikToks. They do something which I love seeing, because I love being able to see that behind the magic stuff. Yeah, I think it's great. I also can see the same thing where people are TikTok in this way, and then Insta story in this way where they put stuff out there and you're like, man, this is either really divisive or this is really, really something that doesn't represent the Disney brand.
Right.
And it's not that you can't say it, just saying if you're going to have an account that you are Disney, don't go through and just say, you've got to torch down this, that, and the other, or go after other accounts that are Disney or whatever else. It's not Disney.
And I think it's important people understand that it's not isolated to Disney because this is a universal thing, right? And I don't mean universal like the park, obviously. I'm going to give you two examples.
Universal. I'm
going to give you two examples. One, a friend of mine that was a bartender back when I worked in restaurants. And I told him on one day his Facebook post would be, come see me at the bar tonight, da-da-da-da. And then the next post would be all about the gripey, miserable customers he had. And I'm like, you can't use that same format for both because why would anyone want to come to your bar knowing that if they piss you off, you're now putting them on blast? It's the same thing. The other
These people suck. By the way, it's Thirsty Thursday.
Now let's put it in perspective of Disney cast members, okay? And again, we're not talking about the people that are there and are struggling and are not getting paid a living wage. We'll get into that later. So hang tight through this journey before you make your judgments, even though some
waging inequities aside,
there was a viral incident a couple months ago where there was a gynecologist office and the nurses were posting pictures like being funny about like when women would go in, and you don't know this because you're not a woman, but there's like the paper on the chair when you go in and like wet spots being left on the chair, and they're posing next to it and being like, oh, this guy's, and posted it as a TikTok. And they all lost their jobs. But everyone was like, do you have any idea how already vulnerable you feel as a woman going in there and all the insecurities you have?
I hope my face shows my disdain for this whole subject. But I'm like,
now mind
who
you,
thinks thinks that's TikTok worthy? Like,
right. But it was
like
like, so, but they made some like little like thing to go with it, but it was like all them posing about like these things. And everyone's like, first of all, that's a violation, right? But secondly, women already feel so uncomfortable and they're put on display. They're so vulnerable in that state. And to know that my doctor's office, it wasn't mine, but would be, that's what they're like, how can you feel
I'm amazed that this worked its way into this conversation. I'm like, the amazing world of Disney podcasting.
You just said about how you represent a brand. Okay, like
I'm just glad I'm not on my period.
Let's take it into one of the things that for me in the responses, I'm all about, and I'm not saying anybody's kiss my butt. I'm fine. I know there are going to be people that are going to get hostile and angry when they think they know what you're saying, or they've only taken a fraction of time. I'm not saying I didn't say what I said. It's a clip I posted, right? But context means everything. And so when I'm saying in there something and someone's response, which were many, is basically guests are assholes, right? It's like, okay, well, if that's your response, like you said, that kind of tells me that maybe you are the cast member I'm talking about, because if that's your response, we talk about guests all the time on here. People keep saying, well, you need to tell guests. The difference between a guest and a cast member, though, is a guest is paying to be there. You are being paid to be there. Now, again, we could debate it all day, but we don't debate that cast members are not paid well. But also, you come to Disney, you say, I want to work here. They will tell you what your wage is. You have the right to say, I don't think that's enough. I don't want to work here. That's fine. But to then be mad at the guests because you feel like you should be being paid more, and that would fester into your interaction with them, you know? And I feel like as somebody who worked in spas and restaurants where a lot of people take it out on the, you know, the person who's working there because they're mad their food is cold or you're out of what they want or the hot water went out in the spa.
They tip accordingly. Right. And they tip accordingly and said, I brought everything to you prompt, whether it was right or not. I didn't cook the food in the back. I apologize, but I'm also the one now getting a 5% tip versus a 20+.
Right. And that's my whole livelihood. You're getting paid the same no matter what the guest interaction is, right? No matter what you offer the guest or don't. Okay. But in that moment, you're like, okay, I have dealt with that. This is where I say to Disney has created a war between us, whether they know it or not. They have slipped on the cast member experience, because I hear that from cast members. We talk to a lot of cast members, and we've had great conversations with them about this and things that they highlight in a conversational way, not in a screaming, yelling match. I will hear you when you speak to me. When you just yell at me, all I'm hearing is you yelled at me. But if you just speak to me, I'm not saying to kiss my butt.
Yeah, it's Charlie. It's the Charlie Brown's
passionate about it.
It's the Charlie Brown's teacher.
You can be
scenario.
upset. You cannot like me. That's okay too. But I'm saying when I'm talking, and I responded to everyone respectfully. I didn't make one nasty comment back, even to people. Then some people, you know, liked my comment but didn't respond after, and that's fine. And I said we love cast members because a lot of them were quick to assume, she must be a Karen. She doesn't like it. She's probably never said thank you to
How
anyone.
much does it suck to have your name be Karen? If that's the fact,
man.
it's like, it's just so mean. Like, it's just arbitrarily. I'm like, man, he's a real, what's the other one? Bob? Or it's
Yeah.
like, maybe it's a Josh. You know what? But it's probably warranted.
And I'll take
it.
I'll take it in stride and understand that that's the risk you run when you post a clip. And somebody said,
Well,
you just want people to go watch your podcast. I mean, sir, that is what social media is for. That is why we post clips. We do want you to go watch our podcast. And that is the whole point of posting a clip.
and by the way, the sky is blue.
Yeah.
And the moon is white. Listen,
Yeah.
it's, to me, it's just, I don't know. People that get so caught up in that stuff and they want to just scream into the abyss. I'm like, listen, you don't have to. I told you I want to start a social media brand called Backspace. You know, it's kind of like MySpace, but it's every response I was going to put on social media. And I hit Backspace. I fed this well thought out response. I'm like, this is stupid. Why am I waiting my
get me
time?
right, it's easy to want to say in a moment, but I resist. Like, I'm like, what is that going to do? What is that going to do? I'm not trying to change anyone's mind about what I feel. And there were several people, and there were people that stitched it on TikTok. There were people that made videos about it and were like, oh, this podcast all about, that was not what the whole episode was about, first of all. Secondly, do a little research and you'll see how many episodes we do talk about celebrating cast members.
And the thing is, because I also like the lightheartedness of us anyway. So it's like, these things do burn us up, you know, things. Some of the things that people would say, you know, I just like the one guy, DJ Sumney. I mean, this guy. Oh, shut up.
Yeah, I was going to say, this one just said, oh,
I'm like, this guy dropped in to tell you something. Okay, listen, it's a clip. It's already been said. So technically, you've already stopped talking about it. So really, there's no bearing on that.
I don't want this episode to be interpreted as it's like, let's all feel sorry for Gina, because it's part of the, okay, first of all, we're Disney adults. All we get is hate. People be mad at me and hostile because I didn't like Stitch. People will be mad because you don't like Cheeseburger spring rolls. Someone's going to be mad because we spend too much money on Disney and the world is in cash. Like, there's always hate. I understand
First of all, here's I'm not financially responsible when it comes to my vacation at Disney. And I'll first one to admit, everybody's like, you're living the lap of luxury. Listen, I struggle like everybody else does. We all do. Yeah. But I'm like, you know what? I make my splurge and my indulgence something that I truly love. I'm not sitting there. I'm like, I'm not somebody that's a fashionista anymore. I'm not going out spending a lot of money on all these fancy things. My fancy thing is a Disney vacation because it puts me in a better mood. I know I can always see something new. I can always go there and have an experience. And it used to be the fact, and why this is so important, I would go there because I didn't deal with the a-holes of the world. Okay? I really didn't. I didn't deal with those a-holes. I was like, this is the place and the destination. I'm insulated. The world's problems don't follow me. But then when people started letting it like kind of penetrate that bubble, then it was an issue. And the same thing, I went back to talking about like cast members and whether it's their personal social medias, everything else. That's kind of thing. It's like, unless you can really put on that front when you're in there, I worry about seeing certain people, and even people I know, and I'm not calling anybody out or anything else. And there's a vast amount of people on social media, but you're saying one thing when you're here, and then you're in there. I'm like, you have a view of something, but like, I've never seen you in the park. Do you portray this towards any one group of guests or something? Or do you really are you talking behind their back? Are you doing these kind of things? I'm like, again, the interactions all, as long as the guest knows that it's like this, but you always want to make you feel like something's genuine. Mm-hmm. And those are the employees we're talking about. We'd love to see the people that Disney really needs. And I also love to see people well compensated for those roles and rewarded for being those people. Yeah. Because that's where the cast compliments are. That's why we try to do even a small token of appreciation with the cast member appreciation points, because of the fact that sometimes, most of the time, actually, it's a thankless job. Yeah. But sometimes when you have the good people, the good ones we'll call it, and there's a lot of them. It's not saying remember, we're talking about a small group of people that should be weeded out. But the good ones, it's not about the money for them. Right. It's about seeing that magic. It's about being part of that magic. Yeah. And it's like seeing a child for the first time, eyes light up as they see a character. It gets you teary-eyed because you're like, this is the magic. Something that's emotion provoking, where somebody can go up and say, I've never been here before. You see somebody in awe, and it's like, this is amazing. Somebody else, it's old hat. We walk through, we walk right by people. I told you when I worked in comics, and it was like, you go through a Comic-Con and there's like a 12-foot Pikachu or something that walks by you. I haven't noticed it half the time. Everybody's like, did you see that? I go, what? I'm like, I'm numb. It's like your nose deaf kind of thing or whatever it is, like people get. it's something you've been through a million times before, but the people that treat experiences, much like what was the girl's name? Was it Kalani in the elephant
Elephant thing.
experience we did? This girl was amazing because I would have thought this was the first time she'd ever done this with a group. She was just as excited
Right.
as we were. And to
Mhm.
be able to give that same experience to
Yeah.
guest after guest and make that something, you're like, wow, that's incredible because
Mhm.
you can't fake that kind of energy. You can't
Mhm.
fake that excitement or passion.
Mhm.
But people that truly, like I said, if you do something you love, you never work a day in your life.
Mhm.
And that person's in that position, but they're echoing it. And it makes me feel so good inside to be a small part of that experience with them. Because if somebody treats me good, I can guarantee you 150% I'm going to treat them that good or better backward or back
Yeah.
to them
Mhm.
because it is something that just lifts you up. Like a compliment on a bad day can change your mood.
Yeah.
When you get up and you start the day on the right foot, they said as simple as making your bed, you feel accomplished. There's
Yeah.
things that you can do. And it just makes me happy to be around those quintessential magic maker cast members
Mhm.
where they can just you just arrive on your trip, that sets the tone. And we've been on trips where you've just arrived and I'm like, why is this person the one that's greeting me? Because you're like, they just see like, oh yeah, this is over there. You're
Yeah,
like,
that
what happened?
definitely
And I
does
get that people
happen.
have bad days.
And we always try to turn it around. We're like, okay, this person, we don't know what's going on. That is our first thought. It's like, they might be having a bad day. They might have had somebody bad. But it's like, you try to turn it around like, hey, how's it going?
Do you remember that?
Service with a smile is
Yeah.
really my entire standard. I am not asking any pixie dust. But that's the thing is when you say, if somebody stands out, it's a compliment to the rest of them that it is a handful because it means you're doing your thing.
Yeah.
And these people that stand out that are like, and I do think it is untrue to say, even if you're a cast member, that you don't think there is one person you've encountered that you're like, maybe this isn't the place for them.
Yeah.
Or maybe this role here
And we've-
isn't the right spot
And
for
we've
them.
agreed that guests make a terrible experience for the
Yes.
cast members and for other guests
100%.
around them. Now, if you look at this, like let's say the people like Willie, the photographer in Hollywood studios, you get Legacy Ben or Grayson or people like this that you go through and you're like, wow, these guys are really, really making a difference in this. And are those people that are making the magic,
Yes.
right? And then it's like, I'm trying to remember exactly where I was going with, so bear with me for a minute. But you have other people at hotels. Remember the older gentleman that worked at Grand Floridian? Okay, would greet everybody and everything.
Mhm.
Everybody's like, "Oh, I love him so much," and be up on pages. Or whatever, Eddie at the at Disney Springs, where you'd be like, "Hey, he's got the most ridiculous outfit in the world, but this man is dancing it up, and he will do it every dang night."
Yeah.
He's another institution. And then you've got, I call him Ranger Rick, but the guy at Wilderness Lodge is the same little ranger guy that goes in there. I'm just having a day with my old brain. I can't remember names right now. But people that have that energy and they bring it every time. Because I've been on multiple vacations and this person's never broke how they are.
Yeah.
You're not like, yeah, well, here, go over here. It's not, everybody's entitled to
Yeah.
their bad days.
And we know not everybody's, that's their personality. Obviously, not everybody, people in our own circle, not everybody's bubbly, not everybody's extroverted. That's totally fine. So one of the comments we got a couple times was like basically insinuating that I have some insanely high standard and that I'm just always
Entitlement.
looking. Yeah, entitled was a big one we got. Privilege was a big one that we got. And it's like,
mean.
let's just back up for a second. Okay, first of all, this is the irony to me in this whole debate was you are upset because you feel like if I had a mild interaction with someone that I found to be unpleasant, that I'm making a judgment about them, which I'm not. I was just saying there's some people, maybe that's not their spot. Okay, but let's say I'm even wrong for thinking that because I caught them on one day. But you have in return made an entire judgment about me based on one small snippet of something I said.
yeah.
You didn't bother to watch the whole entire podcast. You probably didn't even watch the whole clip. You didn't bother to go and look at our social media and see anything
Yeah.
else because you've damned me for this one thing. We're
Yeah.
not saying anybody should be damned for a bad day. We're saying there are some people that give a vibe that is like, you ask yourself, if that person that you just encountered got employee of the month, would you be surprised? The person you just worked with, I said, oh yeah, if you saw a legacy pin on them and you go, would you ever look and go, wow, I'm kind of surprised? Because it's not even about not being like, oh my God, welcome to Disney World. Not everybody's going to be like that. We get that. Back in the day, they were. They really, really were. And that's a Disney fault also because, again, we've heard the cast member experience, the ability of employee empowerment has been reduced. The perks have been reduced. We get all that. And that is what Disney needs to change and why I say they've created a disconnect because the guests are coming. They're paying an insane amount of money, more and more and more each time. And Disney as a company is promising a standard. The same way that if you went to Four Seasons, they have promised you a standard. Now you walk into Four Seasons and let's say you see the people at the front desk look a little sloppy, right? Hair thrown up like I would just on a normal day.
Unkempt,
Sloppy bun, wrinkled costume or uniform. Let's say that they're talking and they're ignoring you at the front desk and you're kind of like, why am I coming to a Four Seasons and this is dinner? That's what guests are coming into Disney for because they are paying that level of price, right? So then you've got the cast members that aren't being treated the way they want to be treated, obviously. They are feeling like this image of guests are all entitled, guests all want too much from us. But it's like, but we're not coming in with any expectation other than what Disney made us think.
Well, that's where they set a standard. And it's the hospitality industry. So you look at like, okay, there's things that I run into, but I'd be just as bent anywhere else.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
That's the thing. It's like, and it's not an entitlement. It's just, you spend a lot of money on something.
Right.
So you're like, I paid for an experience. And you're like, whether you want to provide it or not, I'm like, I did pay for this service. It's like, I pulled up to the Villas of the Grand Floridian one time. Okay. And it's a very, very nice place. It's a very nice, I'm so lucky to be able to stay there. And I got my truck I'd driven. So I had all the luggage in my car and I pull up and there's a couple people standing there ready at like, the bell desk there. And I pull up, open my trunk, whatever. Nobody's even doing anything like luggage cart. Do you need any help? Nothing. Don't even say. And then I look and they're down on their phones and texting. And I'm like, there's usually they're right on top of it. Oh, do you need help? Do you need this? Can I grab you something? Even if they give me a luggage, I take this up to my room. I don't care. That's fine. Whatever it is. I'm like, but you don't even interact with me.
Yeah.
And then I get in and it's like kind of like I have to go to the person and usually it's like welcome home, all this kind of stuff. Because again, if not only on Disney, but if you pay for Disney Vacation Club, you've already on top of everything spent more money. Now these are outliers. They are not something that happens all the time.
No.
98%, if not 99.5% of my trips to Disney are problem free, and I've encountered nothing but great things on them. But the ones that you do remember. And it's like, is this person having a bad day? I give everybody the benefit of the doubt. It's like, maybe that person's just having a hard time.
Right.
I'm like, may God have mercy on your miserable soul. But it's like, I'm telling you right now, look, they are in a hard job. Okay, because you're dealing with people from all over. Not only are you dealing with people that are cranky from the US, you're dealing with people that are cranky from every part of the world. And their cultures may not be the same at tolerating certain things as the US might be.
I also think the struggle is the generalization because Disney's also a place that a ton of Make-A-Wish kids come.
Yeah.
And their family's there. And let's say they're not there with Make-A-Wish and wearing shirts that denote it. Like, what if you're giving service to a family? What if this family saved for 10 years to come? So that's what's bothersome to me is the people that are saying, well, guests are like this, and that's why you're getting that. First of all, I have never gone up to a cast member and been anything but overly pleasant, like bright, cheery, everything. I've never approached someone with, even if something's gone wrong, we are the type going, no, it's totally fine. It's totally fine. I just want to let you know. No, it's okay. It's okay. We've had drinks spilled on us. We've had orders go wrong. We've had mistakes too. And even when I was just at Steakhouse 71 last time, and the guy, I waited forever for my drink. Everyone else had their drink and their food. And then the drink came and it was the wrong drink. And he's like, oh my God. I wasn't like, well, here's this bad review. I was just like, it was funny. And the guy was nice. I was like, service with a smile is all I need. But it's when someone's coming at you with this like disdain for their job. And
was it a Hugo Spritz?
I want to paint this picture. No, I want to paint this picture is when someone says, these are all the things that the company is doing wrong. And now the guests are receiving the brunt of that, right? Okay, that is like if a guest is mad they're overpaying and they start taking it out on cast members. We don't think that's right either. We don't. But let's say you have a child that is in a daycare center and the person who cares for your children doesn't like where they work. They don't feel like they're paid enough. How would you feel to know that that was impacting their job, right? So that's what we're saying is that, yes, We can imagine. We have been in industries where it is damn near impossible to get through the day without feeling like so drained and stressed out. Again, try working in a spa. Who comes to spas? Stressed out people. What are they saying? We spent a ton of money for this. And then the hot water goes out, which is not my doing. People get mad. They're throwing their credit cards at you. They're yelling because they thought they booked an appointment and they didn't. I've been through it. Alcohol related places. You're working in a bar. Someone's mad at the restaurant. Then they're mad because they're overserved and you're trying to cut them off and whatever. There's a million things that happen. I can speak from experience on this. No, I've never worked for the Walt Disney Company. I have not. I can only speak from the guest perspective. But there were plenty of cast members that said, yeah, I agree with you. There are a couple people, and I put it on Disney just to say, Disney needs to train. When I say train them, I mean teach them how to handle guests like this without letting it burden them and make them feel like it's personal.
You know what's really funny to me is because I've never seen you as angry on our podcast as your defense of this.
Though.
But it's just I'm saying it's a very serious kind of like this because you are upset because the fact it's completely contrary to how you actually feel. So it's like people to attack something like one of these other quotes I'll do. Okay, so here's one from we'll call him Ding Dong Loser Life. Did she apply? If not, shut up. Of which I replied to this. Thanks for watching. Who hurt you? Sounds like someone needs a
There
hug.
was also another comment that someone said, and I think it's interesting, mentioning that his daughter is a cast member. And he said, and she tells me all the time and comes home basically with stories of how terrible guests are. And I think, but isn't that interesting? So the cast members are allowed to complain about the guests, but a podcast can't say, hey, there are a handful of cast members that maybe aren't providing the experience that fits in with Disney, right? There aren't. I would like to know, do you think that if Josh D'Amaro walked around, that every cast member would get a 10 out of 10 from him? Because really, truly, undercover boss exists because you're not supposed to treat your boss any different than you would treat a guest. I think that's what he would want. That's why he's going to be a great CEO, is because he is eyes and ears on the floor.
The guy, and I've seen him multiple times. I didn't see Bob Iger multiple times in the park. You know what's different? He already had the job for that. But even Bob Chapek, when he was president of Disney Parks, it's like, I didn't see him in the parks. I've run into Josh D'Amaro like a few different times. And I'm like, and every cast member that's interacted with him is like, he is so nice. And the stories about it, some make me chuckle because one girl's like, and he came up to me and he remembered my name. I go, well, it's on your shirt. But it's like, but he is that person. I mean, that's all jokes aside. He is that person who would remember you. Except for me, like, I remember that time I talked to you and you had a mask on. Yeah, maybe you don't remember my face. It is what it is. Now, back to these things in here. But somebody else, the entitlement of Disney adults, and then he blasphemes with expletives. I don't like that. So you're a jerk and you have a really off-putting name. Anybody goes to things, reveal the hidden comments and you can see this person. The name's a little offensive too. This other person, Mick Fuego. Yeah. Then stop coming until your money goes to pay cast. Really bad spelling. I don't even know what they were going after trying to spell cast members, but cast members a living expletive wage or STFU.
But
now, listen, let me finish this. You just wait your turn. And I was treated like expletive by Disney adults when I was a CM, which is cast member for all the people that don't know the lingo. But I was a CM, and it knocked every bit of pixie dust out of me, and then getting expletive for pay, and on top of that, abuse. Train guests to act better. Guests should be better. Now, you are a former cast member, Mick Fuego. Okay? I said I wasn't going to say names, but this stuff, you're just terrible for... not a terrible person, but I think you're in a terrible mood at the time. I get it. We've all been there. So there's no harm, no foul. We're not mad at you. You're entitled to your opinion, but this was a little far. You know what? Things happen. Okay, managers are going to suck. The other ones, this other person said, there's people that are like the managers, the leads, everything else are not good at their jobs. But again, it's perception sometimes. And then it's this is real life. Because real life, sometimes you may not be getting what you want out of it. And that's why I can't take off this day because people have a lot of people to deal with, right? But other times there's the person's letting you be the fall guy and saying crap rolls downhill. So they might be getting it from somebody else and it just goes and keeps trickling.
But again, it goes back to so wait a minute. You can say my manager sucks, or you can say corporate sucks, or you can in your position, but no one's allowed to critique You. No one's, and again, I may not be speaking about you directly.
Are you talking about me?
No, but I may
You
not
sure?
be speaking about you directly. But that comment right there, and I touched on it earlier, but I'm going to say it because it happened several times, where they're like, then you need to pay more so cast members can, because every time someone say cast members need more, I go, I agree. We agree. They should get paid more. We absolutely. But I also don't believe in the grand scheme of the world, the answer in any company is to go up and go, well, I'll do my job you hired me for better when you pay me more. It's like, wait. You came in here. I told you this is the wage. I told you this is the responsibility. You said, okay, please give me that job. So in an entry level position, you don't have the ability to say that. But that's the problem. That's what's festering. It's the people that go, we don't get paid enough. And they start that.
So have you ever, okay, let's put this into a scenario from business standpoints. Okay. Sometimes you top out. Okay. There's people like from, our family had, for a 40-some-year-old company. And there's people that were working for many, many of these years. There's some people that never moved from the position, not because there wasn't room to move up, but there was other things where they just didn't want to, and they want to stay in a position. Now, if you choose to stay in a position, that position tops out at a certain amount of money because they're like, well, why keep paying you more to do this? Because it's based on the labor and the job. Some people might go above and beyond, and it's worth that to them because it's a person that's, again, be great to people. Give an experience. That's actually you elevating your position. So beyond that, but it's like Disney could go and just replace you for the start over that because you may have gotten increases and
Disney
start over.
Replace people with robots wherever they can. You know what I mean?
Exactly, and that's where it's like. But the fact is, everything comes to a head at some point. I want to see people happy in what they do. I want to see people make a living wage. I want to see people doing what they want to do. Some people, it's just a means to an end. And certain things might be it's a stopover, a position they had to take something. They're in dire straits and they don't have any choice. They're like, I can't. This is the job I was offered, and I get that because you want to make more. I want to see people make more. If I've had ebbs and flows of life where you make a lot of money, you make a little bit of money, you make a lot of money, and it flows like that.
Right.
But for the amount of money we're paying to go to Disney, it's not small. It's a couple $100s a day just to get into the place now. I mean, you're lucky when you find something sub $200 for a ticket if you're just going there for the day. And it's a lot. And that's what I'm saying. You can't say pay more. Well, no, that's not on us. It's on Disney to distribute that more for
And that's what I was going to say. When people say you need to get, like, we're holding back their wage. It's like, I am paying more every single time I go. And Mickey pretzels are freaking $9 now. Like, I'm paying more on every aspect. I can't make Disney give it to you. I'm hoping each time they will. So to fault somebody when I'm like, I'm giving as much as I can give. Yeah. I do treat everyone, like, again, even when you first came out with the cast member appreciation coins, the whole concept was like, we see these cast members that are really giving the old school Disney man. They weren't giving us anything free. We weren't asking for that. They weren't kissing our butts. It was just like such a small ask of like, this person looks like they come here each day. Like, we have friends that are in bartending. The friend that looks like they don't want to wait on anybody behind the bar. And then the person who, no matter if they have one customer, if they have 30 customers, they're shaking your hand, they're greeting because they take pride in what they're doing.
There's people, they always say you're bartender. It always comes back to drinking with us. I swear to God, we're not luscious guys.
But it's an industry we worked in for a long time.
There's people that when they go to the bar, it's not because it's the place, it's the people. So it's like when you go in there, I visit people in different parts of Disney, because I'm like, oh, it's this person. I hope they're there. I hope this person or this person I know work there. And like, you get excited for it. Same way as when you go into a bar and you're like, oh, I love this bartender because it's just the energy. I get to hang out with this person because they can't leave. They're not going to be like, hey, you're like, this is the energy I'm going to get every time. Yeah, and it's an expectation, but they set that expectation. Now, if you're one of those people that sets an expectation and then doesn't deliver on it, at certain times, again, teach their own. Everybody can have a bad day.
And I had people that were chronically bad tippers that would come into my bar every week and never treated them differently. I was like, this is probably how they are everywhere they go. They would be like, hey, honey, this is all for you, and give me like a 10% tip on a big fat check. And you're like, okay, that's fine. That's what they do. I never treated them differently. Then there were men that can get very inappropriate when they've had even one drink. And I had to deal with it, and I had to deal with it respectfully. I was never like talking down to them because I didn't like my job.
What are you talking about, sweetheart?
Yeah. So it's one of those
What are their names? I want it.
But with Disney, I do feel like, why is Disney not listed when they do the lists every year of best companies to work for? I think when we've talked about Josh D'Amaro, as a boss, that would be one of the first things I would ask myself is like, why are we not on that list? What is holding us back from being a company that like, wow, this is one of the greatest companies to work for in the United States. Why are they not? And you may not be able to hit every note, but for my cast members, you should want to feel like, yes, going to Disney and working at Disney are not the same daily experience. We all know that, right?
Yeah,
but the
100%.
same way, what is a cast member feeling each time they go? Have they ever gone as a patron and ever noticed a cast member that maybe they thought, that's not exactly...
Why do you think the term pixie dusting exists? You know, and people say, oh, we got pixie dusted. You know, or this is it's all part of the magic. I'm telling you right now, it's like, but it's like, it is those things, because if you can see somebody, and even the people that are going to do something, they want to give it to somebody that they know is going to appreciate. Not like somebody's like, oh, I heard this person does this, and dropping hints or something when it's expected. It's not the same.
What do you expect when you go to Chick-fil-A, right? Do you not expect
diarrhea?
Friendly service, right?
No, just kidding. That's
friendly
gross,
service,
guys.
friendly service, efficient service. It's the one place you almost never feel like you have to check your bag. I'm not saying 100% of the time, but they always say, what? My pleasure. Yeah. Right? At the end. That's part of their standard they built, a culture.
Wait, what Chick-fil-A do you go to? Mine's a little bit lax. And like, here you go, stupid. Like, here's your stupid chicken.
The point
Hope you like pickles.
Is that it's not something that maybe the people that work, but you know, if you get a job at Chick-fil-A, you are expected to do those things. Whether you like it, then you can go work at McDonald's. You don't have to do that. So my thing is, we love cast members. We love cast members so much. We know that there are a lot of crappy guests, and we talk about that frequently. Like, hey, and I will always, as will you, stand up for a cast member if we see someone being ignorant to them. We will always take up for a cast member. We will always acknowledge somebody. In the beginning, we didn't even
make Wayne Brady have to cut somebody.
We didn't even want to post about when we would give a coin because we were so worried that it was going to look like we were trying to glorify ourselves. But then we realized that cast member does deserve the extra attention. And people started saying, thank you for doing this, because the cast members do deserve to be highlighted. So it's not about us glorifying us because we gave someone the coin. And then how many more people have we encouraged? They go, I love that you guys started doing this. So that's what was so upsetting to me during the whole thing, and why I regretted ever posting the clip, was because it wasn't about, oh, people are not liking what I said or didn't like something. They can disagree with anything we say. It was the idea that these people were now equating us, or me specifically, with, oh, that lady's Karen, she doesn't care about cast members, she has this. I'm like, you know what? Screw yourself. Because I know that not to be true about me. And if you did an iota of research,
I think you're still a little fired up about this.
I am fired up about it. I really meant to come in this episode very lighthearted and love, but it grinds my gears, Josh, because I'm saying it took 2 seconds to do a little research.
All right, Peter Griffin,
that's
listen.
not what I'm saying.
Whatever grinds your gears.
That's not what I'm saying. But I do want to give a shout out to the people, and I'm not going to name them by name just in case they don't want to be named by name. But there were some great in-depth conversations I had with people that I think came into the chat thinking one thing, and then just listen to me speak, and then we're like, you know what? I actually do get what you're saying now, because I do agree with what you're saying. There are a handful of people. We get very defensive because the last thing cast members want to feel is dumped on, and that was never
people feel like
the intention.
Feel like they're put into a bucket, and it's like, if you feel guilty about it, maybe you have some inner soul searching you need to do. But they're like, that's like saying, okay, this person murdered somebody, but they happen to work for Bennigan's. Okay, that's a popular destination people go. Doesn't mean everybody at Bennigan's is a murderer, but you're like, everybody's like, we're not murderers. That guy is. He killed somebody.
That is actually really ridiculous, but accurate analogy. It's like,
I still have my application in at Caldor.
Right,
so,
but it's like, we weren't saying everyone. It's a problem was when it was reposted, it made it sound like we were talking about all of them. But also, people wanted to hear what they wanted to hear, and didn't bother to listen to what was actually being said. And I get it. When you are passionate or you feel like it's been said, Josh and I could give you many categories in our life that we have been prejudged or generalized. Absolutely understand it. Yes, I understand the passion. But at what point do you say, let me see if that's actually what was being said, or let me hear, or let me see, instead of you then saying, but I can't get by with people who are going, well, guests are assholes. That means it sounds like you're justifying the idea of bad
You're a little
behavior.
bit more cursy in this episode.
I am.
Because you are fired up because you just don't like the fact that you were used as clickbait.
Stop saying that, though. Stop saying
Does
that.
Does it make it any less true? Stop being so serious. It's a fun podcast. Listen, all right. So, in summation, with this whole circus that we've gotten ourselves, we both feel passionately about this. We know. I know what you meant. I know what I meant. I know what you meant.
People that think what they think are going to think it anyway, and everyone's going to spit in my food when I go to Disney World now, and it's fine. I'll just bag a lunch, I guess.
I've been doing that for years to you.
But it is hurtful when you know that you do put out there a vibe about let's take care of these people, and then people. So again, I can understand if people saw that and assumed what I was saying and felt hurt by what I said. Yeah. Absolutely. But again, I tried so many times to clarify that it wasn't a general statement. It was me saying there are a handful of people, and they are impacting not just the guest experience, they're also impacting other cast members who say, yeah, it's a drain when I go to work every day and I'm trying to be like upbeat and someone's going, God, I hate it here. God, this is this. It's like, okay, but you're hurting the rest of us.
You know the expression, we'll say it kindly, the expletive, the haters, right? And it's true. I said, so by these people saying what they say, are you going to change the way you are? No, you're not. You're going to be the same person you are. So you're going to keep being kind to cast members. You're going to keep enjoying your Disney vacations. Forget them. They're miserable at home most of the time. And some people are just, some people just live to be miserable. You know what? Have fun. And this is what I talked to you about. I said, I would love to be a little more Wendy's about our responses to things. Gina keeps it rain dig. She's like, we have to be nice. I'm like, get the torches.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right, because it's like, even as much
what was it like? They would respond, your mom's a hoe. Like
but even like Jimmy Seafood does. Like at the end of the day, even as many times as I tried to explain and say, thanks for weighing in, I just want to clarify this and this. The people that had their minds made up had their minds made up, and that's fine. My main takeaway from why I wanted to delve into this deeper in this episode and why I wanted to revisit it was just because I wanted people to understand this was not a generalization about cast members. This was not a disrespect towards cast members. This was saying that there are a handful of people that I think maybe both from the guest perspective and the other CMs perspective are maybe either not in the right spot or maybe haven't been taught how to deal with, we know, entitled or upset or whatever, just people that are miserable everywhere. But you got to ask yourself, like, if you are coming as the guest, would you want to encounter someone? I'm not saying it happens every trip. We could go tons of trips without that. I'm not grading. I'm looking around for someone to give a coin to. I'm like, I can't wait to give out coins to
this
people.
Episode is more about our defense from what was written, because they're saying how much we do appreciate and what we think about that culture of back and forth with things, because some people be like, oh, this was like, what do you love? We love cast members. We've said it a million times. We love them. We embrace them. But
it just goes to show how much we rely on them for the magic, that we do think they are.
We feel like they're if not one of the biggest parts of the magic is the people that work there.
We value them because without them, we can't have the same experience. So that is why we say when someone's there and it seems like they don't want to be, not just that they're like having a tough day or whatever. So ultimately, the main takeaway for me of this episode, besides not wanting it to be like it's not about defending me, it's about defending what we were trying to say and clarifying, really. I do hope that Disney can reassess the cast member experience so they do feel as valued as we value what they bring to the table. Know what I mean? That is what the takeaway is. I hope that under this new leadership that they can say, hey, let's reassess and ask why we aren't named one of the greatest places to work in the country, and say, how can we take better care of our cast members so they in turn can take care of the guests? Because that's how you keep the cycle going of people wanting to come back and people still wanting to work there.
Well, and here, just like this person said, this is where we'll wrap this part up. But it's, girl, there's not enough people in Central Florida willing to work for those crap wages, plus take all her expletive, right? So leave it at that. Like, there's some, because I'm going to handle our shout out portion this time of the show too.
Shout out to cast members.
Yeah. So let's go into that first. Actually, you know what we're going to do? We're going to give we're going to do a double shout out here. Okay. So, shout it out loud. All right. So first thing is our small shop, shout outs. Okay. And that goes to Main Street Collective, because if you notice, I'm wearing this handy dandy. I can't turn around because I'm not that nimble. But shout out to Kyle at Main Street Collective. If you haven't gone on there, make sure you go on there and check. Got great shirts. He is a veteran business. He is amazing. The packaging, everything, the way they do stuff, top notch. I am excited. And another person that is involved with us with Festival of Friends, and we love to have their involvement with that. So shout out Kyle. You're awesome. This shirt's awesome. I love it.
And we have a discount code, which we'll put in the caption.
Yeah, we'll put some codes of things. Maybe not even to his store, just any stores. Anybody need anything from Rite Aid that's out of business? I've got plenty of coupons. Anyway, and then we'll do another shout out. And this is the real shout out here. Just kidding. That one was real too. That sounds like it was fake. It's not. I've been drinking. This is vodka, not water. Just kidding. So shout out this week. I want to shout out 2 cast members in particular, and maybe 3. I think the one guy's name was Adam, I'm pretty sure, that was at the All-Star Music Resort. Younger guy. has this bubbly personality, but just half like lighthearted, joking about stuff. And he was asking about discounts, and he's like, he goes, oh, you got the annual pass. I'm just a broke college kid. I don't got one of those. And he was just very funny about his delivery. He was so sweet. And I ended up giving him a coin. And I was like, man, you're great. He looks, he goes, are you serious? Is this being? And I didn't take a picture. It wasn't that kind of interaction for me, but I'm like, hey, man, I want to just live in the moment with him and be like, man, thank you so much. You're awesome. So shout out, Adam. You did a great job. Enjoy your coin. I appreciate you. But there are 2 other cast members. I was with a friend of mine, Josiah, and we were at Raglan Road, and we were at the outside bar, and we're sitting there, and there's 2 different cast members, Alex and Matthew, the bartenders, and they're the Disney bartenders that aren't your quintessential Disney bartenders. Because they're kind of third party. They're what's called, I believe it's between blue and green cast members, and I think their green cast members are the ones that are associated with Disney, but they're not Disney cast members. Right. So there's different restaurants that are third party like that. So that's the way it was explained to me by these guys. Really funny. We talked about everything from D&D and all this kind of stuff we got in, and then different restaurants. Landry's came out. Shout out Landry's. And it's like, we're going through just yucking it up, but it was such a fun experience. It kept so many people there, and it was kind of cold, and we're drinking beer, and we're like, it's a little chilly out here, but you kept the vibe going. And that's that other magical experience, because you're like, well, I magically stayed here and didn't get up and walk away. Of course, there's alcohol and everybody likes that, but the personalities were so great. End up giving both Alex and Matthew a coin. So if you're in that area and you go up to Raglan Road and you're outside, either one of those guys are working top notch, and they were so fun, but they definitely deserved it. I didn't take a picture because, again, I probably forgot at the time because there was alcohol involved, and I wasn't drunk and I wasn't driving. So it is what it is. Even if I was drunk, I was a little drunk. Okay. I had some Guinnesses. It's weird. There's a whole thing happening here, and you're just like, why don't we stop? Why don't we stop? I don't drink Guinness often, but I was like, I'm going to have 1 or 2 drinks. Okay. Here, I'll drink a Guinness. It's like a meal in itself. But I'm like, it's weird drinking Guinness when it's not a car bomb, because I was just used to every time that Guinness, it was like a car bomb, and I'm just drinking it down. But anyway, Gina, tell them where we can find us.
Well, if you are watching this video on YouTube, please like it if you liked it. Subscribe, hit the notification bell so you can be aware of when new videos are coming. We might surprise you out of anywhere, I guess. Yeah. We're also on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. You can follow us there. As always, we love your comments. Hopefully positive, but if you've got something to say it respectfully. We just like to hear other people's input.
Nobody likes a meanie pants.
Nobody likes angry. We're not trying to be angry with anybody. But anyway, so also on social media, you can give us a follow on TikTok, Instagram. We're at BBT Magic Podcast. We also do have a website, bringbackthemagicpodcast.com. And we are on social media ever present. So that's a great way to interact with us. Also, I want to put it out there, because I've had so many great conversations. If there are people that see something on the podcast and they want to have a direct conversation about it, or want to do an Instagram live, conversation, let us know, guys. We are not closed-minded people. We are not just tunnel vision. We'd like to hear other input, but if you're going to scream at me and cuss at me, you're probably not going to get my attention, because then I feel like, what's the point?
And do us a favor. If you don't like our podcast, don't tell us. Don't care. Just kidding. Yeah. But no, this was a subject that really touched, a nerve with us, obviously, some more than others, because Gina got really unfairly treated online for something that was taken completely out of context. So on behalf of all the people out there that I commented under all these ghost accounts. It was me the whole time, baby. You fell for it. I'm Dr. Fuego, or whatever that was. Mick Fuego. Yeah. Anyway, this has been a fun episode. Thank it has. Well, you livened up at the end. Okay. So this is who we are, guys. That's all part of the magic. Thank you guys for joining us. Please watch your head and step as you exit the podcast. We'll see you next time.
Bring back the magic for all to see. Together we'll discover all the joy and glow. In every story, there's a little bit of gold. Join our podcast adventure, let the magic unfold.